My name is JPS, and welcome to Just Power Washing Stuff. Today I invited Jeffrey, who goes by the tag Jimbles, and sometimes goes by the nickname Blue. He had just starting appearing in streams recently, but he's actually been around for a lot longer than that. And by that I mean we're pretty much brothers. I had quite the amount of questions for him, and he ended up having a few questions for me as well. And might I say, he is a very good conversationalist. I think it's been a very interesting episode because he is quite the professional yapper. And I mean that in the best, most positive way. Because like I said, he is quite sociable and a very good conversationalist. So with that in mind, and without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy. Welcome to Just Power Washing Stuff, a series that is not original at all, but it's a good idea, at least in my opinion. And so I'm here with Jeffrey, who has gone by the tag Jimbles, also gone by the alias Blue, as I am recently informed. I think noise suppression is doing you dirty yet again.
Oh, damn it. I've never quite figured out how to get that to work.
I think it just...
How much of that did you get? Did you hear like a beginning of a scream, or did you get any words?
I heard like some kind of scream, but like no words at all.
Okay, the bit was that I was gonna scream help, help. He's got me locked in his basement. He's holding me against his will. But it didn't really work out. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Other than that, do you have like any other part of an introduction that you have for the people at home?
Yeah, sure. I'm kind of like I'd consider myself a jack of several trades, a master of none. But you know, maybe one day I'll get there. I have many different interests. I love psychology. I love improv. I love comedy. And yeah, that's kind of it.
Now I have to. First off, I want to say, or otherwise a Jeff of all trades. And
that used to be my username, I think, actually.
Oh wow! I just took a shot in the dark there. That was just. I didn't even.
My first Steam
I was like
name.
accidentally right.
You were.
But yeah, some longtime viewers of this channel would probably see you as like a newcomer, but he and I actually go like as far back as like with Josh as well.
Yeah. But first of all, is Patrick's house covered in bird shit? I just want to know. It's all like white stuff, so I just wanted to clarify that.
Well, in this case, it would be seagull feces.
Oh yes, whichever. Okay, got it.
But I'd be surprised if like any bird feces could exist underwater.
Could swim, the dangerous underwater seagull. But
what
yeah,
a great first topic.
I guess yeah. You could say we go back. Is the people who watch allowed to know that the three of us are like our siblings?
I think they're always like hints every now and then, especially on stream. Like with one comment that I remember Will making, like saying like, wow, that's your brother," and I make a joke saying that who, and then this person that we were talking about just a couple seconds ago.
Oh, it's some ancient lore. I would joke with people all the time at school that there was a fourth boy running around, and that you just haven't seen them yet. Like this is some guy. You could bleep that out if you don't want to give away like last names or anything. But there's like a fourth one of us.
Oh, I always come prepared
like,
with the censorship just in case.
Yeah. But I would always tell him like, oh yeah, like he's in prison, or like he went to get the milk and didn't come back.
I live in a cave. No, I live in a basement.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I'm the third one. You were talking about the fourth one. I completely misread that.
No, I used to joke that there was another one of us. Although depending on the day, I consider Patrick number 4.
You know, he might as well be.
But yeah, I'm sure you remember, but you were often you were the host of kind of the early social circle, because I didn't have a ton of friends when we started elementary school, and so my friends were all your friends. All your like all of your like 5th grader friends.
Yeah, I think I might have been I think I was in homeschool at that time, so I didn't have many connections to make really there.
Yeah. And, you know, it'd be the classic, like, you know, fifth grader, like fifth graders messing with like the second graders. Um, like one of the early memories I have is like, um, uh, one of your friends was like, because we'd had this DVD for Tales of the Crypt, and there's a picture on there of like a Santa Claus with like a bloody axe, and I was terrified of it, and so I was talking to him about it, and then like I was still a naive young child, and then so like one of your friends was just like, "Yeah, dude, that's real. There's like a Santa Claus killer, and he's gonna get you." And I'm like, "No!" And, and he's just like taunting me,
I
like,
feel
"Oh,
like my
Santa's gonna kill you."
mind's I feel like my mind is like trauma blocked all the friends that I made in middle school and and before that.
Yeah, well, that one wasn't necessarily malicious. It was more so like a, oh, I can open this one. Okay, got it.
Just not really a crowd that I'd turn out to vibe with.
Nah, well, none of us are. Oh, none of us are exactly like we are back then. It's all the brain does a lot of like changing from the moment we're like little to when we're big. Um, yeah.
Yeah, especially with like all the trends that must have existed for a lot of the middle school students when I was in middle school. Like I'm pretty
Oh,
sure
oh,
I'm pretty sure it was like very trendy for a lot of guys in that grade to just like have their pants hang down just a little.
I was about
That
to
was an unusual trend.
I was about to ask, because what were the trends that you were like, other than sagging pants? What were like some of the trends that you were like you saw when you were like going to middle school?
I don't know. I think that was like the only one that I remember off the top of my head.
For me, it was. Do you know what a kendama is?
A what?
A kendama.
Oh
So
yeah,
it's
now
these.
I remember.
Yeah, yeah. That was all the rage in middle school for whatever reason. Everyone I knew had one. And I had a friend who had bought like a shit ton of them and was gonna try like, oh yeah, these are popular, and I'm gonna sell them. And then he was carrying them right as the trend was dying down, or like everyone had already had one, so he could not sell them for shit.
Well, at
And I
least
was like,
it's more
that.
tame than just like sagging pants.
Uh,
Other than that,
yeah, tame. But it's also kind of the thing of like, oh, this is what everyone wants to do now, and I had no interest in it. So it's like one of those things where it's like, oh man, can you see this like cool trick I can do with my kendama? And I'm like, hey guys, I just got I don't know, I just got Mario Party 9 for the Wii. Isn't that awesome? And like, yeah, cool. Anyway, you want to see this cool kendama trick I can do? I was just kind of like, oh man.
there's a bit of interesting lore behind him making his way into some of the stuff that I've been doing. I think it was just recently that I found that he found out that I'll stream and upload now and then.
Hmm. Yeah, I was completely in the dark. Uh, I forgot exactly how it was. Like someone. Oh no, that's how it was. Because I knew Josh had a Twitter, and so I'd stalk him every once in a while just to see how he's doing, and like check out some of the art he posts. And then like he had retweeted like the Josh highlights video on there. I was like, oh, this is like well put together. I wonder who Josh is streaming with. And I was like, oh, I know that voice. I know who that is. I recognize the cadence. Uh,
Is that how you found
so
like the Hatsune Miku video?
yeah, that was the first one I saw. So uh, and I think that's one of the more popular ones on your channel right now. So I hope that's leaves the kind of impression that you want people to see.
Yeah, that and the emulation Renaissance video.
Hmm.
If that doesn't
Yeah,
leave like some kind of impression, then like some of the stream highlights from how unhinged me and some of the others can be.
yeah. Just for the small bits I've seen, they all seem like very lovely people and also absolutely butt fucking insane.
Oh, they are. Trust me.
Well, yep. Um, I could tell you that after like one of those highlight videos, but hey, all the more the better. No, actually, that's I've spent time with like some of those people. We played Gary's Mod the other day, and
Yeah.
yeah, Will in particular, he scares me.
He scares a lot of people.
Not actually scared, but like I have no idea what he's going to say.
I could see Will and Josh scaring a lot of people. Especially if I were to do like guest invites, like some kind of collab or something. Something tells me, and I mean no disrespect to them when I say it. Something tells me that they would be the most likely to that Josh and Will would be the most likely to scare someone away.
Look, all I'm saying is that if you start doing a stream with like, uh, if you start doing a stream with someone else, and they're like, "Hey, I'm super happy to be here, Jason. It's like nice to hang out," and then Will just start singing about fucking a Subway sandwich, then I like, that just is what it is, right?
Yeah,
That was my first streaming experience. That was my first time being on stream with you guys.
if they can tolerate that, I think it's an indicator that what I I think they definitely vibe with us.
Hmm.
If they're not chased away by that,
It's definitely an if, but a welcome one.
and if they're not like chased away by the one discussion that I like, there was one discussion that I remember with as a game of golf with your friends was being set up, how Will and Patrick were just casually talking about how Will was gifted the entire series of furry shades of gay, and Patrick was like, and you didn't even play any of them. The person, well, not guest, because he ended up being in here, but my friend Six, who was the one witnessing that, had was most likely unfazed and was just laughing about it.
I it's always a nice feeling when you have friends that like mix well together, because there's so many moments where they just don't,
Oh yeah,
and then when they do, it's a delight.
yeah. It can be a risky thing a lot of the time.
Hmm.
I've certainly had my history with like seeing where that could go and finding out the hard way that things can get a little chaotic.
Yeah, I'm routinely, and this is not any like, this isn't just about, this isn't about anything in particular, but I'm
Yeah, like
surprised
in
at,
a general sense.
right, I'm surprised at people's capacity to be mean to each other. I think just in general, it's a it's always shocking.
Like how easy it is for one to be mean towards another.
Yeah, I think my perspective on it is that you just have so little. I don't know. Is that you have a finite amount of time in existing, and you just spend so much of that in spite. And it's just like, well, I mean, if that's how you want to spend your time, I guess whatever floats your boat. But for me, it's just not the way I want to carry myself.
Hard agree.
Hmm.
Especially on the internet, it's easier to them to just like be a, a complete jerk hiding behind some kind of anonymity, like some kind of like one of those profile pictures.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I have a whole. You go to a whole tangent about like
Yeah, where their bark
online
is
and
worse
like,
than their bite.
right, right. This is the kind of hard cutting commentary that people watch your channel for. I hate mean people.
Racism
Truly,
was bad.
racism was bad. Uh, we should be nice to each other. Truly, this is the uh, what do you call it? This is the level of like hard hitting commentary we've wished for. Put this on my gravestone.
Absolutely. I've been meaning to get to this question to start off with, even if like there's a big tangent that went on beforehand, but I don't mind that. It's a great start to this.
Yeah.
So one thing I've been curious about, especially because I had recently learned about that. Where did the alias Blue originate from?
It's not a particularly interesting story. It's uh there's two, right? So first of all, there's a moment, and I still do it like when I can, but it's just a lot of work. is that my hair was dyed a bright sheen of blue at one point, and so people people were cute, and they just started like calling me that, and I'm like, you know what, that works. And at the same time, also it's more of a oh uh it's gonna be dorky as hell, but in Fallout 4, there's this character who follows you around, and because you can name your character whatever you want, um, like they can't record voice lines for like specific names. One character can. That's a whole nother tangent. There's a character in the game called Piper who follows you around, and because you're wearing this big blue jumpsuit, it's like, oh, because you walk out of one of the vaults and you're wearing this big blue suit, so they just call you Blue for the rest of the game. And I'm like, you know what? I like that nickname. And then that was kind of history.
And to go along with that, where the name Jimbles come from?
Oh, that's hard. Ooh, I can't remember when I started using it, but I think for Jimbles, I don't know. I like the idea of something like funny sounding, right? Something that's like, um, it's got the right mix of consonants, and vowels, um, and I don't know. I mean, like you've probably experienced this too, but like, I'm sure you have like friends who will like call you the wrong thing on purpose. They'll be like, "Hey, what's up, Jim Bob?" or "Hey, how's it going, Jim Jar?" Uh,
I've had
for a
Joppus
while,
before.
yeah, Junkus.
Well,
I've
for
been
me it was
called.
Joppus, and then like
Got it.
ever since when I would ever since like my username in Ring Racers would be Joppus Fork.
So funny story. My I have a spam email. And it's uh, my name on there is registered as not as Jeffrey, but as Junkus. Um, so what I didn't know about that is that when you sign up for like different apps or stuff, it'll auto input your name. I have my spam email set up so I can like order food through it, right? Because I don't want them to spam me with like, "Hey, you can get 50 cents off a cheeseburger for the rest of my life," right? So I have that set to my spam email. So what I didn't know is that when I would order my food and I would go to the counter, they would look at the food and they'd look out to the crowd and they go, "I got an order for junk here." I'm just like, "Oh fuck." So for the last like several times that I've gone to McDonald's, I've had to be called junk several times, and they'll always just be like, "Oh, wait, what's your name again?" I'm like, Junk.
And
And they
why
look at me
didn't
like
I
I'm like,
think of the spare email idea?
I don't know. Just, I guess if you're gonna do it, put your name unless you want to be called Junk.
There's also like one of those websites that'll create like a 10-minute email address just for ordering
Oh,
stuff.
sure, you could do that if you want to like do it temporary. But if you want the rewards program,
Then just like
then
create a
you
spare
gotta do it the
email
other way.
with Gmail or Proton Mail.
Yeah, it's gotten like bad enough that I have like a second spam now. I don't remember what that one was for, but yeah. Uh, yeah, that's not really interesting. Messed around with different vowels and symbols until one stick. It was Jonkus for a while. It was Jub Jub for a little bit. Jim Jar, I think, was popular for a little while. And then, I just kept, people just kept hitting me with different variations until I found one that stuck.
The first thing
Uh,
that came to my mind when I'd hear Jimbles would be that one Facebook account that was named "Why Hello, It Is I, Jimbles No Tronbo."
you know what? That might actually have been like what inspired it. Um, it
I was
might have
gonna
been
say
Jimbles
it.
Metronome.
It definitely sounded familiar.
Yeah, and I come to find out that Jimbles is actually apparently not an uncommon username. So there's more than one Jimbles out there.
Fair enough. I feel like this will get you saying a lot, but what had gotten you in what had gotten you into D&D?
Oh, perfect. This is the Jeffrey hour now. so, um, so I come from an improv background, right? So for me, um, I love doing stuff kind of on the spot. I love like the magic that happens when you've put none of your brain into it and you just spit out magic.
I was actually going to be That was actually going to be another question regarding improv. So killing two birds with one stone here.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so I'll try to not tangent too much and explain my background briefly. But I've always like I didn't discover this until high school, but I love acting on instinct because I find that if I tend to sit still, I tend to overthink things, and I tend to get caught in like kind of spiral loops until I let something pass, and that still happens if I take too long to think about something. But um, both with my current job and like with my passions, it's all about acting in the moment. It's all about instinct and just like committing 100%. Uh, so I got really into improv in high school. I had my only exposure prior to that was I think it was those scene games that Markiplier would play with his friends.
Oh,
Um,
those were amazing to watch.
yeah, and then I got into comedy sports, which is my high school's program, and they were starting like, oh, like new choice, do this one. I'm like, oh, that's very similar to the other thing. This could be fun. So I just kept doing it, and then I was like, I'm not gonna pretend like I'm a savant or anything, but like I was good at it. I Within my first year, I got to be on the performing team, um, and then did that for the rest of high school. Started Opportunities were far and few in between, but I kept doing it again, and so it became one of my passions. So D&D was a very natural blend of that. D&D combines um, heavy mechanical, heavy mechanical combat with improv roleplay. So you're taking everything you learn from both. You're taking like all the fun stuff about like video games, um, removing any like kind of constrictions on that, and then getting just flex your on the spot storytelling muscles. It's it's difficult to get right, but like boy howdy is it like fun when you get it nailed, because you can have like I don't know, because you start with like, oh, it's fucking, oh, look, it's Blorbo the Goblin, and he's, he makes sausage, and then you're like on session 70, and you're like, and then Blorbo's like, I knew it, you killed my father, how could you do this to me? And then like now all of a sudden Blorbo is like this like stupid funny little joke character is now like having this like serious crisis moment, um, and that was my first experience. It was me, um it was my bard named uh Jerk Harder and my friend's dwarf named Big Mike, and it was just we just fucked around for like most of the sessions, and then during the last two like sessions our party had this like dramatic breakup, and you're like, I thought I knew you, and they're like, you didn't know the real me, and it was just super dramatic, and like it was it was magic. um
It's like one of those series that looks goofy at first, and then you're like several episodes in, and like, dang, this is more in depth than I was expecting.
right, it takes exactly right, it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of trust. It's like, I don't know how to compare it um to anything, but it's like it's so unfortunate because like your first experience can be god awful, and then you can think like, oh, this is just what the game is like, and then like it just ruins it for you for the rest of the time. And it's like not like a, not everyone's gonna be into it, but I feel bad because so many people's first experience is like, oh man, you're gonna step on this trap and then your body explodes and you die, and it's like, oh, that's not really like that's not really that much fun.
Yeah, a lot of the time when it comes to things like that, and things like Gary's Mod sandboxes, I'll always be in like a creative block, and it prevents me from going anywhere.
Mm. I would I would encourage you to give it another try in another day in like with an environment where you feel comfortable doing so, because that makes all the difference when you have someone that you can like trust running the wheel. um it makes a difference, I
Uh,
guess.
yeah, of course, time commitment would also be a slight issue for me.
Also true. That is the most annoying part of it by far, is trying to get a group of people to slot away one time out of the week to be like, all right, let's just sit together for 4 hours and pretend like we're beating the shit out of goblins.
Yeah, if you'd be trying to get like a large amount of people together for that on a weekly basis, good luck.
Ugh, I try not to. Too many cooks spoils the pot. Um, I find that my best operating is with um 4 or 5 people total, including the dungeon master. Yeah, no, I've been thinking about getting like, I'll probe it, but I've been thinking about just being like, hey, who wants to do like a once a month basement campaign, and just seeing like who's interested. Uh, so I'll probe.
You
Definitely
know,
not a have to thing.
1 month seems like a good balance.
Yeah, I thought so. I think like once a month is not a huge like time commitment, and then um, it doesn't make it so it doesn't like overtake it. And then for me, it's also nice because I'm fucking busy all the time, so once a month is easier for me. Uh, but yeah, I'll poke that later.
I don't know if we've already dove into some of that stuff, but to go along with that, what are some things people get wrong about D&D?
Oh, okay. This opens a whole can of worms. So I would say, um, it's interesting because some people's exposure of it, is through either like Critical Role, if you know what that is, or through Stranger Things. The number one thing I
I was
hear when I
about to
tell people
say
like
Stranger Things probably would have been one of them.
the number one here I think I hear from people who play Stranger Things is, or sorry, people who play D&D is like, oh, it's the game on Stranger Things. I'm like, well, yes,
It's a
but
Stranger Things game.
every single table is different. They each have a different combination of rules that they like. They have a different combination of play style. Some people are really into the role play. Some people only like the combat. Some people like the trap heavy stuff. Some people like the story rich narrative stuff. Um,
Some will have like
uh,
very specific themes, like a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure kind of theme, or
exactly right.
Persona.
Like yeah, exactly. Like some people do D&D things in the world of Persona. Some people do D&D worlds in. I've seen Final Fantasy. I've seen Monster Hunter. Um, it's so customizable, and each table is just going to be different. I'd say the biggest thing people get wrong is assuming that the experience is universal. Um, uh, Second to that, I'd also say like people kind of watch clips of it and they're like, "Oh, you got to be like a professional actor to like do it well, or you have to be like you have to have all your chops." And it's like I have people at my tables who like are not actors, who barely talk, um, or who like or who just don't have like the what is it, or don't really have like the desire to have any like strong combat knowledge. Like they don't want to min max it, and like that's okay. There's so many different ways to play the game, and none of them are wrong. Like I have a lot of times where I'll just like tell people like, oh hey, you could do this on your turn. I think that would be a really good move, and like then they'll kind of like that's just how they play the game. Um,
Yeah, like
so
if you base your standards of D&D off of Critical Role, and with the fact that Matt Mercer is a professional voice actor, you're gonna overwhelm yourself if you set your standards too high.
exactly. So it's like it's just more of a thing of like, hey, you saw that and that's very cool and that's awesome. But we're kind of here in this moment. Let's talk about what you and I could do right now, and what we can make out of this. And you'd be surprised how much magic you can make in that with that kind of moment to moment gameplay. But yeah, I'd say those two. Oh,
So
I do have a. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna let you continue your thought.
It wasn't a continuing thought. I had a question for you.
What would be that question?
So we are on the SpongeBob map, and this is a very divisive uh, topic amongst some of my friends. Uh, but what would you say are like the top 3 best SpongeBob episodes? Because I have a list, and I'm curious what yours are.
I don't know if there's a particular order, but what are up there for me? I'm probably gonna sound basic, but Band Geeks, Chocolate with Nuts, and the Krusty Krab training video.
That's I was gonna say that's actually my exact top 3. I think those are the best. The order in which I think people can like change, but I would say like I would almost say objectively those are like the best ones. Like the amount of times I've had people like walk up to me and be like, "Chocolate! They're selling chocolate!" It's just like it's just a cultural mainstay now. Uh, how do we get on top of this house?
There's like a thing over here that has like a ladder or stairs on it.
We can move that whole thing? God damn!
Yeah,
All right.
apparently our characters are that strong. I don't know how to
Uh,
turn it though.
Me neither. Like we could just Yeah, that'll be fine. I'm sure I can make the jump from there.
Yeah, it should be able to work.
Yeah.
Interestingly, just SpongeBob quotes are one of the multiple ways that Nat and Eric would bond. So there's a funny story
It's
there.
yeah. It's always like, yeah, that was me and my college roommate. We found out that like we were both like SpongeBob nerds, and that was one of our like that was our big bonding moment. Was like, oh yeah, Sponge. We all love SpongeBob, and we have like specific quotes that we can like uh remember about the show.
Yeah, it just takes
Uh,
something like that to ease any anxiety between you and a new person.
it was a cultural mainstay of our generation, I think.
It also applies with like something more niche that like one or like you and the other person would know a lot about.
Right? Yeah, that kind of helps. Um, is having that similar niche. Uh, one of the things I didn't get to talk about, I'll talk about this like a little bit, but then I have some questions for you about that as well. Is that so very recently I've started getting into musical improv, if you know what that is.
The closest thing that comes to mind is like some of the is like one of those music games in Whose Line Is It Anyway,
Who's like,
like Scene to Rap, Motown Group, Doo Wop, and Show Stopping Number. That one's a favorite.
okay, what is show stopping number? What do they do in that one? Because I'm trying to form like a trying to think of
So
like the best thing to compare it to.
so after Drew Carey activates the buzzer, he'll activate it like after a sentence is said, and whoever said the last sentence before he rang the buzzer, they gotta turn that into like a vaudeville type number.
Hmm.
They gotta make a song out of that lyric. I mean,
I see. Okay.
yeah, they gotta make a
Yes.
song out of that sentence.
So I've been doing stuff very similar to that lately, and just like there's just like one day where like they're just like, hey, you should do this like song game, and then I did it, and then I was just like, turns out I was just really good at it. I had like an amount of confidence and like unparalleled like skill in it that I didn't know that I had. Um, it just took like the right time in the right place, and then boom, it happened. Which is it's weird because I was so not confident about singing and music for like the longest time. I don't know if I told you, but I had this like audition that I went to for like a musical in my high school, and um like the I just bombed it. It was like that just shut me down for like I think so long in terms of doing anything close to approaching that. And then all of a sudden I found my groove back, and like it's been really fun. I've been really happy about it. And it's like a skill that I feel like I've been really pushing with.
Yeah, it sounds like something that would be nerve wracking at first.
Definitely. With any form of improv, when you're like, I'm gonna send you, I'm gonna send you out there, and you're gonna make everybody laugh without having a script. You're just gonna be funny. That's a lot of pressure. And then now imagine like, okay, now you're gonna go out there. Now you're gonna go make people laugh, and you're gonna stay on melody, and you're gonna stay in tempo, and every sentence you come up with has to rhyme with the last one.
Oh, that one would especially be different. I mean difficult.
It is both, yeah. It is always scary. But it's the yeah. But it was like really fun. Uh, looks like
Oh, I
we're
almost
almost at the
forgot.
end here.
Hoedown was another example on Whose Line Is It
Yeah,
Anyway.
I'm
That's a
familiar
classic.
with I'm familiar with Hoedown. We've yet to play anything similar to that, but I hope I get to one day. Okay. I think we're coming up on the end here. So I did want to ask. I had a question for you. Uh, so you're really into. I don't know if like this is well known amongst people who watch your stream, but you were really into like I'd say classic rock. Uh,
Guilty as charged.
like yeah. So I was wondering how that started because I don't really remember the music you used to listen to when you're young, and then all I know now is that I've seen you with like a band T-shirt. I'd say 9 out of 10 times that I see you in person.
I've always been a humongous fan of Michael Jackson and Queen. Queen, especially
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to bands. And
Yeah.
eventually, I think it was for Christmas or birthday, my uncle would give me his old CD collection, and then I would do a bit of a dive to when it came to the albums and when it came to the albums were in that collection. So there'd be things like Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd, Combat Rock, the album from The Clash that has the song Should I Stay or Should I Go?
Yeah.
And White Snake's Breakthrough album. Uh, there was one Kiss album from like before they switched back to putting the makeup back on.
Oh,
And
really? Kiss? Okay.
yeah, there's also Heaven and Hell, the Black Sabbath album that featured Dio after Ozzy had left. And ever since I had done that deep dive, it has been interesting to find those out.
Yeah. I find that much like with D&D, I find that people can be very snobby about music, which kind of like puts me out of it sometimes. But that when you get the fun stuff, when you get to like, I don't know, just talk about people like who enjoy music and then like get to like share that joy with them. That's like a lot of fun.
And I don't mean for it to sound like basic in a way, like in the sense of like, oh, my music taste all over the place. But in reality, mine definitely can be, because like one moment you'll hear me listen to Michael Jackson, another you'll hear me listen to Motorhead, and another you'll hear me listen to the Hatsune Miku song Magical Cure Love Shot.
Yeah, why limit yourself to one genre, right?
Right.
I'd say in terms of like favorites,
sometimes even a Eurobeat version of a Disneyland song.
That's real.
That's real, by the way.
Well, no, I'll jump to like soundtracks all the time because it's good inspo for like writing D&D stuff. But yeah, no, I definitely jump all over. Like I'd say like I'm a pretty big pop person in general. Like I like pop, hip hop, that kind of thing. But like there's a ton of stuff I like. I'd say in terms of rock bands, I'd say probably Boston is my favorite. I don't know if you know any Boston songs.
Oh, I definitely know More Than a Feeling.
Yeah, More Than a Feeling, Peace of Mind, Amanda. Those are all great. I love Queen. Somebody to Love will always be one of my favorites.
It is an absolute banger.
Yeah. Oh geez, there's more, I'm sure, but Boston and Queen are probably, I'd say, the top two. A little less conventional. I don't know if this counts as rock, but I'm a huge fan of Ninja Sex Party.
I'd say it pretty much counts.
Yeah, they're like at least rock adjacent.
Yeah, especially with the addition of twerp.
Oh yeah. Oh, that concert that you and I went to with twerp, that was magical.
Yeah, it still blew my mind to find out there's another twerp fan in the family.
Oh yeah, no, I was a fan of them since they joined up with NSP. I was like, oh, this is actually like really rad. They do some good instrumentals. It was mostly through NSP. It's mostly through like their cover album with NSP. But like, then I started listening to some of the stuff they do on their own. It's just like, yeah, it's funky. I like it. Ooh, Magic Sword was really good too. I've started listening to a couple of their songs after the pre-show, and whew.
Those immediately got into my gym playlist.
Yeah. I can't help but like remember like what dad what our dad said after like we saw twerp, that like yeah, that bass player like definitely has more than one band. I'm like, I don't know, maybe.
I remember him saying something along the lines of like, I feel like the bass player is the real leader of the band. Like, don't discount Dr. Sung.
No, they're all great. I love him, but yeah, I go back and listen to like some of the songs that were like on, and I like go back and listen to the bass specifically, and I'm like, goddamn, like they're all great. I love all of them, and they all do a fantastic job. But that bass player is like ascended to some level of like musical knowledge that people dream of.
Yeah, especially with the track Planet Bass. Shame that didn't get to be played live.
Yeah, well, they'll go on tour again, I'm sure.
So here's So here's one that I figured I'd give you another opportunity to go on about as much as you'd like. What had
Mhm.
gotten you into psychology?
Mm, good question. So, how it first started was that there was I originally I had altruism is always one of my values. So I always like, oh, what's like something I can do to like that helps people or that makes their lives better in some fashion. So we were doing this like career aptitude test. We're like finding out like what career should you do that fits you in high school. And I was like, I don't know. I haven't really thought about it much. I'm just gonna kind of do high school and then just kind of go from there. Um, and then like I got the results back and they were like, you should look into therapy. And I was like, I guess so. And then the person next to me was like, dude, fuck, I this none of my scores match up with the job I want. And so I had this like long conversation with them about like, hey, it's just a test score. It doesn't really define you that much. You know, you're kind of the one who's in charge of that at the end of the day, and this test is only like a hypothesis. And they looked at me in that moment and they're like, you have to be a therapist. You gotta do that. And I thought just like, yeah, fuck it, why not? And then I started pursuing that further. And then I've learned a lot about just I don't know, it's just about different topics in general. I mean, uh, learned about more about how the human brain works. That's made it a lot easier to like talk to people once you understand kind of like what the facets of their mind are. So that helped me because definitely struggled with that for like a long time. Like I didn't know how to initiate conversations. I didn't know how to talk to people. So that helped me in that regard. Um, and then it was just like I got to learn about things that like I'd always wanted to learn about. It's the human mind is a fascinating place.
I hear that.
Yeah, I've and the different schools of it are like fascinating from like psychoanalysis to behaviorism to humanitarian psychology to evolutionary psychology. You know, not saying you have to really agree with all of them. I'm sure a lot of the scientific community would tell you to not or to disregard most of what Freud said, but like, um, but it's like really fascinating, and I'm really passionate uh, passionate about that stuff. I've done a lot of learning specifically in the last, I'd say the last 2 years or so about neurodivergence and about like autism specifically. Um, and I've become a really, I would say, passionate advocate for like society and how they treat individuals who like don't fit within these boxes that they've set for them, if that makes sense.
Like how some would see them as outsiders or something.
Yeah, I could. This is a whole other thing that like we could talk about for hours, like if we really wanted to. But like the world, I would say, at least this is true in America. I'd say that society, your value to society is typically tied to how much you economically contribute to the world around you. Um, and because and not because they're like any less like skilled, but because like you know because of the way that society's set up, um, it makes it like people get this tied in their mind like, oh, because you have one of these, it's debilitating or like it's like
Like
lesser
they're
than
looked
to an
down upon.
extent. Yeah, right. Because they're looked down upon or they're like pitied. Um, and for me, it's just like, well, you're doing this because the value of that is tied to like how much you contribute to the GDP. Um, but I think how was it? Uh,
Yeah, seeing it as the way the mind that their mind works is different is one thing. Seeing it as lesser is that's not a good way of looking at it. That's not a good mindset to have.
yeah, well, it's just like it's just the wiring's different, but like it's not. It doesn't make anyone like more or less capable. Um, you can't arbitrarily put a price on people, and um, you know that's just what we're taught, I think, and we're all kind of hammered in with this mindset of like, oh yeah, got to do this, or yeah, you have to contribute to the world in like these specific ways, and you got to make this arbitrary number go up because that determines your social standing and value as a person.
You gotta have
Um,
6 figures, at least the minimum of 6 figures.
right, right. I mean, you see it in like the way people talk about just people who are different.
Six
Um,
or seven
I'm,
figures.
I'm,
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna stop. No, you're good. I'm gonna stop because I'm gonna get political if I keep talking about this. But uh, yeah, I don't know. I just think I think Mark Rober has a son who has autism, and I think he put it the best when it was just like, even if he's not going to be the first person to like walk on Mars or like um, do this like type of genius thing, the joy that he provides to my life is invaluable. And I'm like, that is how you should view the people in your life, not by like, oh, how are they doing in the world? How are they doing in the world? How much is their what's their global capital? And it's more so like, I don't know, are they happy? Do they make other people around them happy?
Yeah, because even if there's a chance that they wouldn't be bringing like some kind of income, they're at least bringing value in other ways to
Yeah,
people's lives.
yeah, like who cares anymore? We live in a capitalist hellhole. You know, let's just go live on a hippie commune and do drugs for the rest of our life. We'll just be happy.
The drugs part, I think that would vary among some people.
If you want to, it's
If it
not a requirement.
if it's legal.
uh, but yeah, I would. It's just it opened my eyes, and I think that was kind of the moment where I was like, I got really into it, and then it changed the way I look at the world around me. It uh changed the way I talk to people, changed the way I view people, and it made me, I think, a better person. And it's something that I will continue, even if it doesn't end up being like the career I do for the rest of my life. It's something I'll continue to carry with me. It's something that I'll want to continue studying up on. Uh,
I'd have
so you
like
kind of,
I'd have like bits and pieces of psychology. Well, I'm not going to say I have the best understanding for it, but I'd hear like bits and pieces from like a time in 2022, I think, where I would watch a lot of videos that would be created by Dr. K of Healthy Gamer GG, if you're familiar with that channel.
no, I'll have to look into it.
Yeah, he had done interviews with a lot of different viewers and content creators, just talking about mental health stuff, and sometimes about
Hmm.
meditation as well.
Hmm. That's fun. There's a lot of science about meditation lately. That's like showing some of the benefits are. I just wish I had the time for it.
Yeah,
Um,
that could be a difficult thing about that.
yeah. Um, it's kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum. I think you're more into the you have a lot more knowledge in like the health science or like that kind of realm compared to me.
Uh, There
Uh,
is some there is some that there is some that I've dabbled in sometimes the way that the mind works can go with like the eating habits.
yeah, well, the two are almost like what are we missing? Where where is this
I think if you hit
one
escape,
speck of
there's like a whole list of things that are like 93%
gotcha?
clean.
Okay, I forgot to clean the weather vane on Patrick's house. That that's what we're missing. Um, anyway, but the two are definitely linked, right? The stat if you feel like shit a lot of the time, your brain is also gonna feel like shit. Um, and vice versa. But if you if you're doing good mental habits or good like health habits for your body, the other one is probably gonna also feel better and then feel more inclined to kind of take care of itself. They're a lot more linked than people like think they are. People tend to kind of assume it's like two separate entities of your body. Um, but
Yeah.
the brain is an organ. Uh, it makes sense like the human body has systems in place for it to be like, oh well, hey, your stomach's feeling like shit because you've eaten nothing but hot pockets. Um, if you don't stop this now, I'm gonna go into depression mode. And that's not exactly how it works, but it's like there's some there's some truth to the idea. Uh, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're studying kinesthesiology right now, right?
Kinesiology, yes.
Kinesiology. I don't know where I got the T from. Uh, so kinesiology. So what was kind of give me what was the journey like for you? What was like because I know you're a not a gym rat, but you're a workout kind of person. Uh, so what was kind of what was the journey like for you? Kind of getting there.
Yeah, that had actually started from the first time that I had initially lost the added pounds from when I was younger, and then I wanted to do more of a deep dive into that because there was a part of me that was that even though I wasn't like too overweight, I was still self conscious about the fact that there was still that last couple of pounds of fat that I wanted to do without. And at one point, I was looking into like different methods and such, and it got to a point where I unfortunately did fall for the keto stuff. I did fall for V shred, and then learned from
Mm,
that, and had noticed that it wasn't the fact that it wasn't the fact that I was eating carbs. It wasn't because I wasn't doing these particular exercises that V shred would do. I would track the grams of protein that I would have and keep track of the amount of calories I would eat in comparison to the amount that I would burn, which it's hard to get like an exact number for that, but like an estimate in general can be very helpful.
mm.
And you'd also have to make sure like if you're trying to track your calories to lose weight, snacking would definitely be your worst enemy for that. Mainly in the sense of like there's this saying that I remember hearing that was like most people remember their meals but not their snacks. So
Mm-hmm.
like
Yep.
you're not aware most of the time most people aren't aware of like how much they'll have for a snack, especially with things like chips, like candy that they'll grab like multiple at a time. And it'd be easier to it's easier to keep track of if you like put them on a scale and weigh out how much they actually are, and then it gives you an idea of like how many calories you're consuming from that
Mm.
versus like winging it and grabbing a handful and then you're just not aware of like how you would gain like another pound the next week.
Yeah. Well, here's where something like the fun areas of knowledge kind of intersect a little bit. Um, so yeah, from the psychological perspective of that, um, my obviously my journey has been very different, but it was interesting that you had said like that you had like lost like a lot of the weight you put off, and you were still not like happy, or like not like totally satisfied. You were probably like happy that you were seeing progress, but you weren't like you had this like thing that you still needed to get rid of, right? Um,
Right.
for me, it was kind of like it's one of the reasons like why it's been so hard to do consistently, is because like I'm like, man, I want to be ripped so I can stop feeling like bad about myself and my body, and I'm just always like, it's always like you're doing it for the wrong reason. Like the motivation goes away and it fades because you're not doing it out of like any like sort of serious thing to be like, oh man, like I want to feel healthy and I want to feel better. It's like, oh, you want to just look better, and the motivation for that dies quickly.
Yeah,
Um,
like you'd be aiming for perfection rather than at least better than you were before.
right, yeah, and so it's been a very slow journey for me, but for me, I've been learning to be kind of like happy with myself, and then going from there, and then like the idea is kind of to help increase that mental motivation. Uh, uh, but yeah, there's just so many like mental factors that go into it that I had that like they don't tell you that you have to also address when you are we have to clean the leaves too. God damn. When you are doing that kind of journey. Um, but yeah, I would always do it for just like the wrong reasons. Um, but for you, it just kind of seemed to stick. Uh, so I've been envious of your ability to kind of like just stick to that. Because it's a lot more difficult for me.
I will say it wasn't the easiest because there had been a time that I had allowed myself to have like some of the typical snack foods in moderation, and little did I know that it was more than I was expecting, and then like had rubber banded to at least where I was like it was like 2 years ago, I think. Not to not to obesity, but like to a point where, man, I kind of wish these pounds of fat weren't there. But I'm
Mm,
slowly making my way back. I also have to make sure that the house isn't completely covered in highly palatable foods, because that can also be quite a factor that can be difficult for a lot of people trying to lose weight.
mm, yeah.
Like
Everything in moderation, I've heard.
especially if something highly palatable like that is just like openly available right there. It's just looking at
Well,
you,
it's
taunting you.
well, it got worse when I got like a car and started like driving around because then I was like, because then your friendly neighborhood In and Out is like just a few minutes away, and the amount of times I've just been like, you know what, I'm feeling really good. I'm glad I'm eating healthy, and then like there's an In and Out there like, oh, fuck it, I want a 4x4, and then I just feel like shit the next day, and I'm like, ugh.
See, I was
Uh,
thinking it was going to take the route of like, you know what? I've earned this today.
well, sometimes it's like that. But I try to temper that. Um,
Yeah,
have you heard
that
of?
could be another challenge that could be another challenge. Like some people have like a super strict diet for like 5 or 6 of the days of the week, and then one day it's my cheat day, and then just completely undo that calorie wise.
I was gonna say it's like it's my cheat day, and then you wake up and you're pregnant. And it's like, oh,
the the food child
uh,
is right there. I remember hearing
I
about
was gonna say you could take that very literally and then just be like, it's my cheat day. Like
I remember
just
hearing
cheat
about
on your partner.
I remember hearing about a nutritional science PhD guy that had talked about a debate with this guy who was for the whole like calories don't matter kind of thing, and like offered to debate him, and like he had pulled up like an example of like eating super strict, and then like a photo of that guy having like this massive cheat meal, and I think that guy backed out of the debate.
I yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, I may I maintain I think you just want to be doing it for the right reason. Um, but yeah, I mean, look, that's what we do. We humans, they lie to themselves to keep themselves like sane. You know, it's denial. But hey, whatever. If you're fucking like, I don't know, if you're like overweight and you're happy and you like go for like a run every once in a while, you're probably fine.
Yeah,
Um,
if you want to make that kind of change, you also got to make sure that your whole value is not placed on that factor at the same time. Because
exactly right. It should be something yeah.
otherwise how are you
It should,
gonna
it's
stick to that?
yeah. It should be like I want to live like a decently long life, and I could make these changes to help extend my lifespan by a couple of years, which is what I've been kind of on, and that's been helping me out the most. Uh,
It's like you're good enough, and on top of that, make sure to keep yourself healthy and do what you can to improve your mind, improve the rest of yourself, while at the same time you're good enough.
have have you have you heard of the heart attack grill? Do you know about this?
Unfortunately.
Do you think like once you get to like I don't know, do you think like just like at the last maybe like at like the last like year of your life or so, you'll just be like, fuck it, I'll go for that like quadruple patty deep fried in lard.
No, instead I'd basically have two dinners, one involving a rack of spare ribs and another involving some kind of fettuccine alfredo.
That's a good last meal.
If I wanted to go even more crazy with the amount of calories I'd be consuming there, I'd go with like a some kind of fettuccine alfredo that'd be at the Cheesecake Factory, because I've heard like a lot of food there is like super dense in calories.
I think it's and this is more so making fun of like me than it is you, but I think it's so funny that like you're like, yeah, if like my last meal would be yeah, or like yeah, if I like I want to indulge, maybe I'll do like some ribs and like some pasta. And then for me, if I'm just like, yeah, we'll start with a whole pizza, then we'll see where I go from there.
I mean, there was the one birthday that I had where there was the idea of having both ribs and pasta, and by that day I was just ready to throw up because I couldn't have all that. Plus the fact that plus the fact that I had filled up on baked brie cheese.
Your stomach is a lot more responsible than mine.
Well, it wasn't that day, that's for sure. I gained like 7 pounds from that day alone, but I don't know if it was all fat. Part of it could have been water because like some of those calories must not have all been digested at that time.
Gotcha. Oh, you can rotate this. Okay. If how do you feel about, because there's the guy who runs the Heart Attack Grill, and he's very he's very what's the word? He's very high and mighty in what he does. So I'm curious how you feel about his messaging. The idea that like he is doing the world a service by showing how unhealthy the world around you is, and that him directly contributing to like the heart attacks of customers is doing the world a favor. How do you feel about that?
I think there are ways that are a lot better than there are ways to demonstrate that they're a lot better than that.
Okay, I'm glad you agree with me on that.
Just contributing to killing more people at that point.
All right. Yeah. I was gonna say, because if you had just been like, yeah, I think he's right. I think I kind of agree with that, and I was just gonna be like, and then not comment on it. So I'm glad that we're of the same mind.
Gives you the yes and practice from improv.
Oh man, I definitely have gotten better at lying. It's definitely something you pick up. Like,
look, I need out of context.
Look, I'm not gonna like. I'm not gonna talk about specifically what I do because of privacy reasons, but it's one where like you have to meet a lot of people and you have to be somewhat agreeable. So the fact of the matter is that sometimes people are just gonna like say like the most like whack shit to you, and because you don't want to like affect them in any way, you don't want to demonstrate any bias, you just have to be like like someone
exactly.
will just,
yes, and
yeah, exactly, right. So you could just be like, I don't know, like I'll be like with like a person, and then like they'll be like, oh yeah, I mean, like, we never actually did land on the moon, and I'll be like, yeah, some of those pictures were probably pretty suspicious. And then, like, I'll just go home and I'll be like, ugh!
Yeah, man, just look at the group that funded it. Look at this specific group of people that funded this moon landing. Is that one line from the Blonde Boys music video from Syndigo?
Where there's a speck of dirt on here that we're still missing.
I think it's on the other side.
How do we get there?
Okay, I think I might have found a way, but I'm just
I see it.
I'm just like getting it from here.
Oh,
okay, there we go.
Okay, cool. Okay, we got the job. Did we just turn it in? What's the button? Oh, here we go. There's the
power. We get to witness the slideshow of the accomplishment.
Oh yeah, look, there's where we talked about psychology, there's where we talked about D&D, and there's where we talked about the Heart Attack Grill.
All in the right order.
All in the right order. Was that actually? I think I'm going to watch this now.
I think so, yeah. I might as well add, where should people go if they wanna keep up to date with what you do?
Right now, I'm keeping things fairly close to my chest, because I have got stuff outside going on that might interfere with this. But I'll probably be catching a stream or two in the future. I plan to at least be there for the rest of the Book of Mario streams.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good way to mention that. Just saying, like, you can find me on this loser's streams and sometimes stream highlights.
I don't think you're a loser. And a nerd, a dork maybe, but not a loser. There's a difference. But yeah, I'll be sticking around for future streams, and otherwise, if you want the goods, you know where to find me. Wink, wink.
Perfect. Jeffrey, thank you for agreeing to do this.
The goods are crack. Just thought I'd clarify that. Of course, anytime. It was a little fun. I think it'd be fun to do more of these in the future. I think we should definitely have one where it's like it's you, me, and Josh on the same one. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, I think he'd have access to the game.
Yeah, people get a kick out of that. Yeah, after you do Josh, if you do Josh's, and if he's like after that, if he's down for it, we should do one with the three of us.
I'd have to see if he is down for it. But
It's just gonna be 2 hours. Yeah, it's just gonna be 2 hours of me and Josh screaming at each other, and you're gonna be like, "Stop!"
the trio 3 hour long special.
3 hours. The original, the OGs.
It's up to him though. It's not like a certain subscriber count that goal. It's just if Josh wants to, and then maybe we'll do that if he's down for that.
It's cool. If not, we just replace him with Patrick and move on.
Yeah,
that'd be a very interesting episode structure. It's you and Josh, and then you, me and Josh, and then you, me, Josh, and Patrick.
But yeah, Jeff, thanks again for agreeing to do this.
Anytime. You know where to find me.